Making this super cute American flag halter crop top perfect for the 4th of July, summer festivals, or just showing off your patriotic side. It's a fun and easy pattern that works up fast. Hey friends, in today's video we'll be making this crochet halter crop top featuring the red, white, and blue. This pattern is beginner friendly, works up pretty quickly, and we'll be using simple stitches to create that classic star and stripe look. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Shaz and I make fun and free crochet video tutorials just like this. Like and subscribe to be in the loop. For this pattern, we'll be using Cascade Fixation yarns in the color red, white, and blue. We'll also need a 3mm hook, a tape measure, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, one stitch marker, and some sewing pins. So go ahead and grab your red yarn and work up a slip knot. We'll be first working on the bottom band, and I'll be working on a size small, so go ahead and chain 68. Make sure to end on an odd number. And once you're done, you'll chain once more to start the next row. For the next row, you'll yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain from your hook, you'll draw up a loop, and you'll work a half double crochet stitch. You'll work half double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. On your last stitch, you'll work your last half double crochet and you'll chain one and turn. And if you're using the recommended yarn, it should be stretchy like this. For the next row, you'll yarn over and insert your hook into that first stitch. Make sure to pull up the first loop as tall as a half double crochet stitch. Now you'll continue to work a half double crochet stitch all the way across. Once you've reached that last stitch, we'll prepare to switch to the next yarn color. So before closing up that half double crochet stitch, pick up your white yarn and pull through to close up the stitch. You'll chain one with the white yarn and turn your work. From here, you can snip off the red yarn about the same length as the white yarn. And now, to keep our work nice and tidy, we'll pick up the loose ends and work a half double crochet stitch around it. You'll yarn over, you'll place your hook under the excess tail, insert your hook into the stitch, you'll drop a loop, yarn over, and pull through a loop. You'll continue to half double crochet each stitch all the way across while working around the excess tail. On your last stitch, you'll work your last half double crochet, chain one, and turn your work. Now for any of the excess tail, you'll just pull it tight and snip off the excess tail. For the next row, you'll continue working the half double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. Once you've reached that last stitch, you'll work that half double crochet stitch, and before closing up that stitch, you'll pick up the red yarn to close up the stitch. You'll chain one and turn your work. Go ahead and snip off the white yarn. From here, we'll just repeat 2 rows of the red yarn followed by 2 rows of the white yarn, and we'll do this for a total of 12 rows, ideally ending on a white row, but feel free to work up as many rows as you like. And don't forget to work around the excess tail. Once you've completed all your rows, you'll place a stitch marker in the center of the row, making sure that you have the same number of stitches on both sides. Now for your last stitch, before closing up that last stitch, first let me undo the stitch. You'll pick up the red yarn and pull through to close up that stitch. You'll chain 1 and turn your work. And go ahead and snip off any excess yarn. For the next row, we'll be working on the cups, and we'll continue working half double crochet stitches while working around the excess tail all the way across until we've reached the stitch marker. Once you've reached that stitch marker, go ahead and work your last half double crochet stitch. You'll chain 1, turn your work, and for the next row, we'll start working our decreases. Into that first and second stitch, we'll work a half double crochet 2 together decrease stitch. And then we'll continue working 1 half double crochet stitch all the way across. Once you've reached that last stitch, go ahead and take your white yarn and pull through the loop to close up the stitch. You chain 1 and turn your work. On the next row, we'll be working a half double crochet 2 together decrease stitch. So go ahead and yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch and draw up a second loop, yarn over and pull through all loops while working around the excess tail. Continue to work the half double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. Once you've reached that last stitch, you'll chain 1, you'll turn your work, and just like before, we'll work our decrease stitch at the beginning of every row. And you'll continue to work the half double crochet stitches followed by decrease stitches at the beginning of every row until you have 5 stitches remaining. And I'll meet you back here once we're done. Once you have 5 stitches at the top, go ahead and bind off. Now for the next cup, go ahead and grab your blue yarn. You'll insert your hook into the next stitch after the red stitch. You'll drop a loop, chain 1 to secure. Now into the same stitch, you'll work a half double crochet stitch while carrying along the excess tail. And you'll continue to work 1 half double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. On your last stitch, you'll work a half double crochet, chain 1 and turn your work. Now just like before, at the beginning of each row, we'll work a half double crochet 2 together decrease stitch into the first and second stitch, followed by 1 half double crochet all the way across. And you'll do the exact same thing on this side until you have 5 stitches remaining. And I'll meet you back here once you're done. Once you're done, your top should look something like this. Now we'll be working on the edging. Let's turn our work to the side on the red and white side. Make sure you're still facing the right side up. Insert your hook into that bottom row. You'll drop a red yarn, chain 1 to secure. Now from here, we'll be working 2 single crochet stitches into each row's post. So make sure to always work around the excess tail. So you'll find the next row's post and work 2 single crochet stitches. And you continue to do this all the way across until the top of the strap. Once you've worked your way all the way to the top, go ahead and work 3 single crochet stitches into that last row's post. Now at the top of the stitch, you'll work your 5 single crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. And feel free to bring that excess tail forward and work around it. Once you've completed all 5 single crochet stitches, we'll turn our work to the side and we'll work 3 single crochet stitches into that first row's post. And then we'll work our way down by working 2 single crochet stitches into every row's post. Before closing up that last stitch on the red row's post, pull up a blue yarn to close up that stitch. Now go ahead and find the first row on the second cup and work 2 single crochet stitches into the row's post. And don't forget to work around the excess tail. Just like before, you'll continue working 2 single crochet stitches into each row's post all the way till the top. Once you've worked your way all the way to the top, now just like before, you'll work 3 single crochet stitches on the last row. You'll turn your work and work 5 single crochet stitches at the top. Feel free to bring forward any excess tail. And once you've completed that last stitch, you'll turn your work and work another 3 single crochet stitches into the row's post. Now go ahead and work your way down by working 2 single crochet stitches into every row's post. Once you've worked your way all the way down, you'll chain 1, turn your work, and into that first stitch, go ahead and work a half double crochet stitch until the top of the white row. Once you've completed the half double crochet row, we'll now work on the straps. For size small, I'll be working 72 chains. And for all the other sizes, you'll be able to get them in the link in the description box below. Here's a tip to getting the right number of chains on your strap. Once you've worked up the recommended number of chains, pull it across diagonally on the opposite strap to see if it stretches nicely. When the chain is relaxed, it should be slightly shorter, and when fully stretched, it should be slightly over the strap like this. And this is when you know you have enough chains for your strap. Next, find that 3 group single crochet stitch that you did at the corner and insert your hook into the second group stitch. Draw up a loop and work 1 slip stitch. Next, you'll work 2 more slip stitches. You'll turn your work. You'll skip the previous 2 slip stitches. Into the third stitch, you'll work a half double crochet stitch. Next, you'll continue working one half double crochet stitch into every chain all the way across. Once you've reached that last chain, go ahead and work one half double crochet into each stitch across the side band. On your last stitch, you'll chain one, turn your work. Just make sure that your straps are not twisted. For the next row, you'll work 2 half double crochet stitches. You'll chain 2, you'll skip 2, and into the next stitch, you'll work another 2 half double crochet stitches. You'll chain 2, skip 2, and you'll repeat the 2 half double crochets, chain 2, skip 2 all the way across. Once you're at the end of the strap, go ahead and find the last stitch. You'll skip one stitch and then you'll work 2 slip stitches. You'll turn your work, you'll skip the previous 2 slip stitches, and into the chain space, go ahead and work 2 single crochet stitches. Depending on the number of stitches you have, your beginning stitch could be a half double crochet stitch rather than a chain space. Just continue to work your single crochet stitch into each stitch and chain space all the way across. This is how it should look like so far. On your last stitch, you'll chain 1 and turn your work. Now we'll basically be repeating the first and second row. So here we'll be working our 2 half double crochet stitches, chain 2, skip 2, and another 2 half double crochet stitches, followed by 2 chains. You'll repeat this pattern all the way across. Once you've reached the top, you'll skip one stitch, and into the next stitch you'll work 2 slip stitches. You'll turn your work, skip the previous 2 slip stitches, and into the third stitch you'll work your half double crochet stitch. So whether it's chain space or a half double crochet stitch, you'll just continue to work a half double crochet stitch into each stitch and each chain all the way across. And once you're done with that last row, go ahead and bind off. Your strap should be stretchy and something like this. Now we'll go ahead and work on the other side. We'll turn our work and make sure we're still facing the right side up. You'll pick up your red yarn. We'll insert a hook through the bottom last row. We'll drop a loop and chain 1 to secure. We'll work half double crochet stitches into each stitch all the way across until we've reached the top of the white row. Once you've reached the top of the white row, you'll just work the same number of chains as you did on the other side. And you'll continue to work the same pattern all the way across. And I'll meet you back here once we're done. Once you've completed your straps, it should look something like this. Now let's go ahead and work on the stars. To make the star, we'll start by working a magic ring. You'll wrap the yarn around 3 fingers like so. You'll insert your hook under the first yarn and pull up the second yarn. Now you'll drop a loop and you'll switch hands. You'll chain 1 to secure. Here you can pull up the tail and you've just completed your magic ring. To start with the first point, you'll chain 2. You'll insert your hook into the second chain, you'll drop a loop and work a slip stitch. Now for the next chain, you'll yarn over and work a half double crochet into that bottom chain and drop a loop. You've just worked your first star point. Now into that magic ring, you'll insert your hook and work a slip stitch. Now we'll just be repeating the exact same thing as we did on the previous tip. You'll chain 3, you'll insert your hook into the second chain, you'll drop a loop and work a slip stitch, yarn over into the next chain, you'll work a half double crochet stitch, and you'll insert your hook into the magic ring and you'll work a slip stitch. If you find the magic ring a little bit too large, just go ahead and pull the tail to close up the ring. Now you'll do this 3 more times. On your last point, you'll work a slip stitch into that first chain space that you did on the first tip and work a slip stitch. Now you'll pull the magic ring's tail to close up the ring. And you've just completed one tiny little star. Make sure to leave a long tail so that we can weave it in later on. Now go ahead and make 8 more stars, or as many or as little stars as you prefer. Here I've arranged my stars by placing 1 star followed by 2 stars at the bottom. So I'll continue 1 star and 2 stars in that order while arranging them evenly. Next, I'm using a sewing pin to secure them in place. Once you're happy with the star placement, go ahead and get a blunt tapestry needle. You'll pick up the tail and thread it through the needle. Now you'll arrange the point of your stars, making sure that you have 1 point facing upwards. You'll insert the needle behind 1 point. Then you'll insert the needle through to the back. You pull it through. And you'll do the same thing for each point. Once you're done with all 5 points, you'll pick up the second tail and you pull it through the back. Feel free to pinch the tip of each star to make it more pointy. And now for the back, all you need to do is just work up a double knot and weave in the excess tail. And this is how the finished star placement should look like. Now let's go ahead and work on the ties. For the ties, I'll be using both red and blue on each ends. First, I'll take the red yarn and pull it across 2 arms length like this image here. I'll do this 10 times, and once you've done this, you'll take the top of the yarn and fold it in half to create a double strand. Cut the end and work up a slip knot. Next, you'll insert your hook and start working double chains until you've reached the end of the yarn. Once you've reached the top of the yarn, you'll take the blue yarn and pull the same amount of yarn as you did earlier. You'll insert one end of the blue yarn through the red yarn's loop, and you'll pull through to meet the ends. From here, you'll just continue to work up your double chains all the way till the end. And once you've reached the end of the yarn, you'll just bind off, and we'll adjust the length and the ends later on. Once you have your ties all ready, you'll turn to the back of your top and find the visible 3rd to 4th chain space from the top. We'll insert the red ties end first under the chain space and across over to the red strap under and through the 3rd chain space. Now we'll weave the ties through every 2nd chain space across. So with my red yarn, I'll skip the next chain space and I'll insert it under and through the following chain space. I'll pick up the blue yarn and I'll find the next chain space and skip that, and I'll insert it through the following chain space. You'll continue to do this all the way down. Once you have your ties all weaved through, you can either keep the length of the ties, or you could measure about 28 inches or 71 centimeters from the last chain space towards the tie and work up a double knot. Once you have your double knot, just snip off the remaining yarn and repeat the same thing on the other side. Now just tie a knot and weave in any loose ends. I hope you've enjoyed making this crochet halter top as much as I did, and I would love for you to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I'll see you soon.